Let's have a listen to the man of the hour, the man of the 48 hours, Baker Mayfield, who got on a plane and flew from Carolina to Los Angeles, got off, was in a whirlwind, or whirlwind, as some might say, and ended up winning a football game. Here he is after the game.
I don't know if you can write it any better than that. Obviously, we'd like to be a little bit more stress-free, but it's a pretty damn good story, I'll be honest with you. So it's special. You know, I used to not necessarily complain about the fact that I had that many different offensive systems and having to learn that, but it came in handy when having to learn a crash course and being able to relate certain things. And, Sean's protection scheme is similar to Bill Callahan's, who I had in Cleveland. So the terminology with that knocks out a big chunk of the learning curve, and just trying to learn all the motions and the terminology for that. It's tough, but those guys did a great job of helping me out, communicating when I got off the field on the sideline and just talking about what the plays that are coming up. There was still definitely some looked like some rookie errors with formations and motions. Obviously, it hurt us late, but it worked out. But not having the timeouts to be able to call on defense, it came down to that 3rd and 1 stop. Defense did a hell of a job making that stop and giving us the ball back. So there's things that definitely need to be worked out, but those guys helped me out in this crash course. To be honest with you, I'm just looking to be the best version of me possible, learn and improve in the system, trying to take away from a great group of guys that have had a lot of success. Obviously, the injuries, it's tough, but just trying to learn from everybody here, take in as much as I can, and let the pieces fall where they may. I can't control the future. I know I have, the next 4 games here, trying to build on that and just be the best version of me and improve.
Mayfield had 6 completions before the final 2 drives. He was 16 for 21, 145 yards, and his only touchdown of the night on the last 2 drives of the game. It is amazing how it all happened for Baker Mayfield. And now they have extra time to get ready because their Week 15 game comes Monday night at Green Bay, and then they've got the short week Christmas game. The league office, Peter, had to be very happy about this outcome because you've got 2 more, technically 3, and maybe they won't flex Rams-Chargers now after what we saw last night, but you've got at least 2 more standalone national broadcasts that there was no reason to watch, and now there is.
Hey, look, Mike, Monday Night Football, when the schedule came out early in the year, I said, wow, what a Monday Night Football game. Right before Christmas, Rams at Packers. What a fantastic game. And, then you looked at it, you just sort of laughed, just like you laughed at Rams-Broncos on Christmas. But what's so interesting now, because whether the Packers win or lose this weekend, okay? What you're looking... Oh, wait a minute. Packers are on the bye, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Packers are on the bye. So obviously, Aaron Rodgers plays on that Monday night. So, and so the Packers are desperate to win that game, to keep their absolutely tiny playoff hopes alive, all right? So they need to win the game. Baker Mayfield needs to keep the magic going and to continue to revive his career. So all of a sudden, that's fascinating from a lot of standpoints. So ESPN gets very lucky. But I'll just say one other thing, too, that you could say sort of the same thing about the Christmas game against the Broncos. Look, I'm not falling for the, the Charlie Brown and Lucy holding the football. I've given up on the Broncos. I'm done with it. It's over. Have your Christmas meal during that game. However, the interesting
open all your presents.
Thing about
go to church. Go to bed.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
The interesting thing about that game is going to be Mayfield magic if he can do anything on Christmas on the Monday night game next week. So look, you're absolutely right, Mike. These games went from kind of dream games to nightmare games to now, there's a flicker of interest in these games.
Yeah, and there'll be even more of a flicker if Mayfield can make something good happen on Monday night. And if he can do that in 2 days, What will he do with 11 more days? I want to go back to that game-winning touchdown because we've tracked down the next-gen stats that show the dots and all the movement of the players so we can get a much better look at exactly what transpired. You see Jefferson on the left. You see Skoranek on the right, and the safety was in the middle. And you just have the safety. He started on the right side and then worked his way over. There's two guys wasted in the middle of the field, though, Peter, to your point from earlier. You got a crosser underneath.
Okay.
Screw that guy. What's that guy going to do?
Yeah. Look,
well, if he catches a short one, he may make it to the end zone.
Here's the problem with this. Tutu Atwell is the blue dot that you're going to see cross over the middle. Okay, you see him, and he's got a corner, and he's got two safeties basically monitoring him. It's a waste of a safety. Okay, now we could argue the exact same thing if he goes to either. Let's look at the right side of the screen right now. Okay, the right dot is Tyler Higbee, the tight end. The slot dot is Ben Skoranek. Both of them are singled and very well covered. In fact, you know what you talked about before, Mike? Just stay between your guy and the goal line. And both of those cover guys do a very good job of making sure that those guys don't have an edge on them. But the problem becomes that when you are looking at this play in real time, you see a glut right over the middle with Tutu Atwell. And one of those safeties had to be either, on the other side with Higbee and Skoranek or with Van Jefferson, and probably with Jefferson because he's the best receiver. Because look at Mayfield right here. Let's show this one more time from the back. All right, if we could see it one more time from the back. Watch Mayfield. He never looks anywhere. He never looks anywhere other than at Van Jefferson. That is it. And Mike, I can tell you why he did that, okay? He did that because he was getting used to all night Max Crosby ringing his bell. He knew that he didn't have time to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at all my options. No. When that ball was snapped, he said, I am throwing to one guy, Van Jefferson. I don't have time to be deliberate right here. And so all of that conspired to, I'll tell you what, Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, Josh McDaniels, certainly, Dave Ziegler, the general manager. I'm just telling you, they are still sick this morning. They're absolutely sick because if you looked at their schedule, it wasn't impossible for them to make a very unlikely but a playoff run because, look, Al Michaels said it last night. Last year at this time, the Rams were 6-7, or the Raiders were 6-7, and they went on to make the playoffs. Holding on to that win last night, they would have been 6-7 with a not impossible, kind of a manageable schedule. They would have been 6-7, and who knows what would have happened.
And Sims and I were talking about this yesterday. What was looming was a playoff play-in sort of game, Christmas Eve, Raiders-Steelers 50th anniversary weekend of the Immaculate Reception, because if those teams keep winning, one of them may be in position to pick off the 7th seed, and now that becomes much more difficult for the Raiders, who have to be sick. They lost to Jeff Saturday 4 days after he gets the job. They lose to Baker Mayfield 2 days after he gets the job, and they win the 3 games in between. It makes no sense. None of it makes any sense, what the Raiders have done over the last 5 games. And last night we mentioned the Jerry Tillery snafu down the stretch. Cleveland Farrell jumping offside on a punt. Who jumps offside on a punt when you're up 16-3? Who goes offside on a punt? When does that ever happen? You're not locked in, white-knuckled, waiting for your chance to go wreak havoc when you're an interior punt rusher. That gave the Rams a first down and extended the drive that made it 16-10. So, it's
Mike.
I will
There's
doubt
one
that they
other
slept
thing.
last night, and I doubt that they'll sleep tonight. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.